Ba, 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 ba. Ba, 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 ba.
How are the levels for you?
Pretty good.
Okay.
Talk again.
I was asking how the levels are for you.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Cool.
Just wanted to check your voice against the game sound.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was about to say the music, and then I was like, no, the drone. I think I called it the shutdown drone, the emotional shutdown drone.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Yeah. That might be reading a little too much into it, but
Yeah, I've already copied my game over, because I have not beat Jevil.
yeah, that's fair.
But I do have a save point now in the third slot to go back and maybe try again and again and again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I think we'll just get into it.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, it is a little loud now. There we go.
Something like that.
Yeah, sounds good. So yeah, I don't think we really checked out any of this room.
No, I just kind of got to this point and then
Yeah.
saved it because I was just so exhausted.
Yeah, you'd spent like an hour fighting Jevil. Oh,
Oh, is this
it's the boys' room.
Oh, I can't reach the other thing.
Ooh, yeah.
Yes. Salsa buried in the ground. And also presumably full of salsa.
I'm gonna move just slightly so I can see the screen better. Yeah, that's good.
Oh wait, did the portraits change?
Um.
I didn't catch that.
Oh, yeah, they're like sticking out their tongues now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny. I didn't notice that.
Okay. I don't know how much the shop's gonna help. I have so much money, but I already like jammed my inventory full.
Ah, what is thine interest?
The Duke of Puzzles. Yeah, I guess kinda.
Yeah. He's kind of a sexy man. He's got that like classic sexy man, twink look.
I like how we're gonna be crushed into wine. That's a very particular.
Yeah.
particular.
He's such a fancy boy. Monarch.
Decided
Decides to
Decided Destith.
or decided to He's so stupid. I hate Rolls. He's so good.
Oh,
No.
I mean, that's kind of cute.
Aww. Rolls room.
HP.
Oh,
Interesting.
heroic and cool.
So the dainty scarf is -2 to attack.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of it's kind of interesting actually. There's ralsei's kind of being set up with they're like different. The items for him seem to either reduce attack and increase magic, or like vice versa, which is interesting because like right now he pretty much only knows like healing spells. So it's, yeah, we're kind of wondering if like, I don't know, maybe he's gonna get offensive abilities in the future. Fluffiness up!
I mean, that's what we wanted, right?
Can't say no to that.
Yeah. I mean, Susie's not gonna leave the party again, right?
No. No, at this point she's, yeah, you should,
Yeah.
yeah.
I still want to give her the stick. Like, if we're gonna leave the party, we're gonna nerf you on the way out. That only seems fair.
That was a smart impulse.
Guts up.
Guts up!
That's just like my high school cross country coach. Gut it up.
Gut it up!
So wait, what am I carrying again? A sword and a ribbon.
Oh yeah. You can always get another. How much money do you have? Oh, that's right. Yeah, I mean, you could just bulk your guys up.
So Amber Card is just my extra defense.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been like trying to figure out what Amber Card is supposed to. That's such a strange like concept for an item. All right, double card. Not too important, not too unimportant.
Okay.
Oh, did you? Oh, okay.
It didn't go away, so.
I was kind of nervous for a second there.
I did use it though.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
One last chance to fight Jevil.
Yeah.
I think I'm good this time. I'm gonna go save it. Because I don't know what's gonna happen next, but man.
Yeah.
That is interesting. I mean, the things that are in the shop here. 50 HP.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, that stuff
defense.
might help with
extra. Was that extra magic?
Yeah, extra like. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be worth coming back on the other save and like.
Yeah.
Grabbing those extra things and then seeing seeing if that helps at all.
Yeah. Yeah, I always kind of forget that Roll's shop is right there.
Yeah, because like editing that whole like hour-long situation, it was painful. It was as painful as doing it. Just throwing myself at Jevil.
Yeah.
So bad. Sure. What's Susie's idea? Oh god. Oh wow. I thought you were gonna be stronger than that.
Yeah. Oh, I like how he flew over the dialogue box.
Alright, let's do it. Let's do it again.
Ooh.
Hey.
Hell yeah. God, I love this thing has like just the sexiest legs.
Oh. Whoa. Yeah, I don't know what it's looking for. Hey.
All right.
Okay.
Roll sucks. I love him. Yeah,
Okay.
something happened here.
Okay, yeah.
Alright.
Everything's been through the struggle.
Yeah. I should make a note of this. I always forget about this room.
Yeah, piles of riches. Throne kind of thrashed up, and then banners thrashed up. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah. It's been, yeah, folks have pointed stuff out about that room before, and I just always forget about it. But yeah, after when we do our podcast, I'll
Okay. What do we have? We have talk. I guess that's what we said we would try.
Ooh.
See, there we go. You
Yeah.
that left us in the shadows, stripped of meaning.
Yeah, I was trying to not comment on it too much, but
I guess it's something we can try.
oh, that's right, Lightbringer. Forgot.
Interesting.
Yeah, I forgot that he calls Kris that.
That's a different title, yeah.
Yeah, that's whole Luciferin. And by a little, I mean literally.
Dare to return, yeah.
So yeah, return to Tormentus. That's next time.
Okay, yeah. Cool. There we go.
Hell yeah.
You know, he says that, but he's already king. What more could he want?
He wants to roll. He wants to roll everything.
Yeah, I suppose so.
You know, you got that mean girl.
Yeah, I'm with Susie on this one.
Yeah. Ralsei.
I should have nerfed Ralsei.
He's too fluffy. He's too fluffy for
fluffy.
his own good. Yeah, do you remember that was what Susie
Yeah.
said? Yeah.
As a callback.
Mm-hmm.
It happens.
It happens. Oh, thanks. Lancer.
Aw.
Hmm.
Kinda looks like it. Yeah, fine by me. Cool.
Finally a light switch.
Yeah, man, look where the light switch is. Why wouldn't that be by the door? Well, okay then.
Yeah, were you kind of picking up on that vibe while you're going through it?
No, not really.
Yeah. I was trying to not with the amber card stuff. I actually almost kind of spilled it because I was about to say I don't know what the amber card is supposed to correspond to.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I guess it's just like a sticker or something, but oh, her eyes. If you go left, it's not super important. It's just a thing I've been thinking about. There's just this classroom that's always locked, and it's the only one that, like, in the evening like this doesn't have a light shining on it. I've just been thinking a lot about that about that classroom. Because we know there's a classroom for the little kids and a classroom for the big kids.
Yeah, lets us in.
Mm-hmm. The throne of the gods!
Yep.
There's it's kind of a... This narrator loves the throne of the gods joke. Comes up a lot. 8 years ago.
Oh, 'cause... Yeah. Okay. That's cute.
What's
What, so his mom's like a kindergarten teacher?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Teacher food, yeah.
So many teacher jokes. Hyperdodecahedron. That's another... So much narration in the light world that I think about a lot.
The alphabet up there is kind of screwy.
Oh.
A B C D E F G H I J K L M.
N O P.
I guess it's an N. Okay. That could be an S T U V W X Y.
Yeah, I think it's just small pixels.
A C C D E F G H 1. Okay. Maybe it's not that weird.
Yeah.
Scented? Sure.
Kris is a weird kid.
Yeah.
Oh.
See, I knew one of those would be important.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. Sadie Hockmans.
The Nightmare Tolo.
Yeah, absolutely Nightmare Tolo. Ah. I guess I didn't leave anything behind, did I?
Nah.
Didn't have enough time to actually settle in. Okay. Oh, right, my phone probably works.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it's not just garbage noise anymore.
Yeah. Still have the egg.
We still have the egg. I know what to do with egg. I will...
Look at that, I got $2 on me.
Oh, yeah. Got a Halloween pencil. Got a spooky pencil. The library.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, let's take in.
Oh wow. Oh wow, yeah, wow. Okay. I mean, I guess that works.
Yeah. Stubby.
Wow. I mean, I wanna know what's up. Alright.
God.
Such a weird kid.
Mm. Yeah, some of these are like Undertale jokes.
Yeah.
That guy is very much a weird lore thing that I can show you later if you're curious, but
Okay.
or in the next chapter.
Okay. What's going on here? Yeah, also I think you were blocking traffic first, so
I mean cops.
yeah. Shouldn't talk to cops.
Yeah. Fucking cops.
Uh-huh. Yeah, you do that.
It's the cop house.
Okay. Guess that tracks. Sure.
Yeah, go play the piano.
Cool.
Talk to the nurse again.
You know, I tried.
Yeah. Yeah, they usually play more beautifully.
I mean, just let me wander around.
Yeah.
Cool. Alright, well, guess I'm saying hi too.
Yeah. Jingle my gosh darn bells.
No.
No. Yeah. The player did.
Yeah. Sure. That's the family.
Yeah, the epilogue segments are kind of mostly, they're jam-packed with stuff, like details and things, but for the most part it's kind of exposition.
Okay. Santa Claus scares Noel.
Yeah.
Sounds good to me. I mean, as long as they're just letting me wander around.
Yeah, if you're like in just wandering around the light world, there's a lot of stuff to look at.
Okay. This room has 2 sinks.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
That might be a joke about weird fan theories. Also relating to Gaster.
Oh wow. So this just keeps going. I guess we'll go this way. Oh, this is Alvin. Yeah, I guess we could use some fruit juice.
Oh yeah, this is Alvin.
Wow. This kid just gets weirder and weirder.
Yeah.
Oh, look at this. A spooky forest path.
Yeah, so it's more Undertale stuff that makes more sense with Undertale.
Yeah. Hey, it's the guy who was writing books, right?
Yeah, the Lord of the Hammer.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, you would have, if you played the other, Gerson Boom is a turtle.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, look at that. Well, good to know. Got
Yeah,
a
I'm
town bunker.
trying to. Yeah, there's a sound that plays down there,
Oh.
but it was just yeah, I think it was just a little too low. I think it's the garbage noise from the Dark World, but just kind of like, I think it's like slowed down by 666% or something. That's politics.
I mean, I guess I gotta try.
That's a funny line. Forgot about that.
Alright, leave him to it. Wow, what was your deal?
Ice me up!
Oh, God. Really?
Oh, God. Pepperonis.
Wow. How about you?
It's pizza pants!
Alright, how's the job? Sounds like a great plan.
Accidentally.
Cool. That works, I guess.
Yeah, that tracks.
You know, what's funny, there's a place over across the river. I don't know if it's still there. It's a pizza place. And when they first went in, they put up their sign and they spelled it BLAZZIN pizza.
Blazin?
Blazin' pizza.
Blazin' pizza. Brazzers pizza.
Took them years to finally get that changed.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's because no one thought to tell them.
Yeah.
It really was supposed to be Blazin' Pizza, but you know, sometimes you just go with what you got.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Aww.
I mean that, yeah.
Aww. Ice Wolf does not like ice and drink. It's like the baloney in the purse. Some deep Chad family lore. My great aunt saved it. I told you about this. We went to visit my great aunt in Kentucky, and she was this kind of elderly, very slim woman, and she had one slice of ham left on her plate, and she didn't ask for a box. It was just one slice of ham, so she took a napkin and wrapped up the slice of bologna in the napkin and then slipped it in her purse.
Yeah. No, I know that. My grandma was all about that.
Yeah, that's right. We have talked about this because fucking old ladies and just.
I swear her purse just kept getting bigger every year because she would find new things that would need to go into it. I think the one I remember most was fried chicken at a buffet, an old country buffet or something. It's well, it's pretty good fried chicken, so I'm just gonna grab a whole plate of it and wrap them up individually. and napkins, and then
yeah.
slot them into the pockets in the purse, and then
To
off
be
she would go.
to be fair, in college, when I was on the meal plan, I used to, because you know, it was either you were getting stuff to take with you, or you were eating in, and then you don't get to take a box of extra food out. So I would make like an envelope out of paper towels and put like pour cereal into it, so I could have a little cereal snack.
Oh, that's smart.
For later in the day, yeah. And then I'd stick it in my backpack.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I guess I've never had that instinct.
I think it's the little like grandma instinct.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't want to be all essentialist about
Yeah.
but Chad, the little Italian grandma.
Yeah.
You know, I think it can cross gender lines too. But
Yeah, it's I don't know.
yeah.
I just have very strong memories of my grandma and her Pendleton purse.
Mhm.
Just like a rucksack practically.
Yeah.
And there was everything in there, plus usually something from lunch. You know, a little something extra to get you through.
Yeah.
Partly because she would spend so much time at like the powwows doing the circuit
Mhm.
to all the vendors. So, you know,
Yeah.
you can't stop for like a real sit down meal. You
That's true. Yeah.
have to haggle every single person at the
Yeah.
powwow, one after the other.
Mhm.
And then once you've done that once, then you do it a second time.
Oh yeah, that's a busy day. Yeah, no, you gotta have your little on the go haggling snack.
Yeah, because you don't buy anything on the first round.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah,
You
you're
just talk to
scoping shit
everyone
out.
and like hear what they have, hear what their spiel is.
Mhm.
And I guess, I don't know, formulate your plan to come back the second time through. And, like,
Yeah, you gotta make a hit list.
yeah.
That's fun.
So yeah, absolutely. This has really worked out.
You know that guy.
I know this guy.
I like to think that their last name is just the skeleton. Like Sans T skeleton.
Sure. Cool. Okay. Well. Sure. Cool.
Did you ever fight Papyrus in Undertale?
I think I did, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Probably, yes.
Yeah.
All the time. So wait, what is this place?
He has such a clear voice in my head.
Is it Bill
Maybe-
Burr?
I was about to say maybe Cyborgman,
Oh, okay.
just because that's recent and on the brain, but... I'm the cool teacher.
Oh, right, this is the teacher.
Yeah.
And not the substitute teacher.
Yeah, no, she's the teacher. In the other game, she's the royal scientist. She's like the top hot big shot scientist. She's got basically the same personality.
Well, I was gonna see what exactly you were doing here.
Check out that graffiti in the pink.
Oh, it's the
It's the everyman.
yeah. Yeah. We never did find the chalk. I mean, that was a pretty good synopsis.
Yeah. It's a pretty good sell.
Yeah, what is with the saucer? Sure. It's like gardening, right?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. Well, I guess I'll leave him to it. Yeah, keep going north, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Sure.
Folks are guessing that Caddy with an eye is going to be maybe in the party or something, or be significant in future chapters because she has a sprite like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of us are really looking forward to that because Caddy seems really interesting. An anti-blessing from Planet Hell.
Okay, guess I will.
Baber, baber. Brother Doug.
Sure.
So it's funny because in the other game they're friends and they run a shop together. Yeah. It's cool. Little something for the fans.
I mean, that's also true in my life.
Oh, always getting hair.
Every cup of coffee I make is full of cat and dog hair.
Yeah, that's true. Bratty.
No, go away.
It's the ghost house. So this scene actually mirrors, or is like a recreation of the approach to Asgore, like the final boss in Undertale.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He says basically the same lines and it's the same, like, composition.
Okay.
There's dirt.
I was gonna help myself to some money, but sure.
Yeah, I don't think your dad has money to spare.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is also a callback to the, like, human souls that Asgore was taking.
Okay.
But this time it's the types of flowers that were in the bouquet that he gave Toriel on their wedding day.
Sure.
Aha, you did it.
Okay, there we go. Pickled egg.
Open it again.
Oh. Oh, that's weird.
Yeah. No one has any fucking idea what that means, but not too important, not too unimportant.
Okay.
Oh, so yeah, the mysterious doors.
Mattress. Yeah, that's why there's no money in the cash register.
Yeah.
Okay, well. You don't have any money.
Yeah. He's trying so hard.
Okay, I see what I needed to see here.
Yeah, you did the egg thing. It's the most important thing.
Just giving away more flowers to add, oh my god.
Yeah.
You gotta sell them. Cool.
Oh yeah, go stand on the spot. Yeah, I think you just gotta stand there for a sec. Here we go.
Sure.
Yeah.
I've been meeting all sorts of new weird people.
Yeah, you're making all sorts of friends.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, you just make one up like I did.
So his real name or their real name is Onion, but you don't have to name him Onion.
Yeah.
I wouldn't name him Disgusting. I would name them the top three.
I was gonna call them onion because they look like an onion. Yeah.
Yum. Funyun. Hyper potato mask.
Yes.
Yep. Okay. Okay, bye.
Cool. All right.
True. Yeah, I think you did all the things. Oh yeah, Noel. I forgot about Noel.
Yeah. I mean,
It's true.
it says so much in so many ways.
He is. And he does.
Yeah. Some good questions.
Yeah. Yeah, do you think the different colors taste different?
I think it's kind of like Smarties.
Yeah, Smarties
or
rolls.
Necco
Yeah.
wafers.
Yeah, ugh, Necco wafers the worst.
Yeah.
I'd rather eat chalk than Necco wafers. Necco wafers are basically chalk.
Yeah.
I like Smarties though.
We have Smarties in the kitchen.
Oh, I forgot that we have the
A
Smarties.
whole bag full of them.
Jesus Christ. I don't know if I like them that much to have a whole bag, but... Why do we have all those Smarties?
I have no idea.
Was that all the... Did you do all three?
I did, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, then I think that's basically... Yeah.
Hey, made it home
Yeah.
in one piece.
Yeah, it's cool how the path just kind of naturally guides you there.
Okay. Also, why do we have a hymnal?
Mom's religious, I guess.
Yeah, but I don't think I'm supposed to take those home.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's like, yeah, she's like extra. Oh, you're gonna give her the bouquet.
Oh yeah. Sorry, I just like immediately had to check everything to see if it had changed.
Oh
since
no,
this morning.
that's fair. I just wanted to see if you were, because you can choose not to.
Really?
Yeah, no, you don't have to give her the flowers.
Yeah.
But
You can't just like you could like set them up and not say anything. Yeah, see now I feel like I should have put them in a vase and not said anything.
yeah, they just disappear from your inventory.
Yeah.
If you don't give them.
Yeah.
Super Smashing Fighters. Oh. I love the little bits of information about Azrael in this game. Little red horns.
That's a good question. So do I have the option to just eat the entire pie? Butterscotch cinnamon pie.
Yeah. Check the trash. Oh, okay. Just says the same thing. But the florals.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all the flowers go there.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, it might be like tomorrow that it says it's smelling more flowery than normal.
Curse and boom. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can't find anything else, can I?
Yeah, you pretty much did everything. Yeah, so that was chapter 1.
Chapter 1.
Oh, that's right. Oh, yeah. It's the, Oh, you can try to WASD this, but
I think it's just sleepwalking.
it's kind of fun if you try to WASD. Yeah, so you can see your little souls moving around.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so that was chapter 1. And then 2 years passed, and everybody was like, "What the fuck was up with that ending?"
The light is running low, and the shadows start to grow, and the places that you know seem like fantasy. There's a light inside your soul that's still shining in the cold, with the truth, the promise in our hearts. Don't forget, I'm with you in the dark.
Ended on the Gaster sequence. Those like
Mhm.
last 3 notes. Grip it and rip it. Been wanting to do that the past several sessions, and I always forget.
Maybe that'll have to be the intro or the outro. Is just the sound of you opening a beer.
And the grip it and rip it. It's very important. The only reason I did that was so I could say grip it and rip it.
Yeah, I don't know if there is what all I have to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of nice just to like, I guess, glide into the finish and not have to stress too much about it.
Yeah, I mean, especially after the friggin' the jevil episode.
I'm gonna have to go back and just do a whole set of jevil to see if I can't get past him.
Mm-hmm.
See what's going on there.
Yeah, that was kind of because, like, I mean, I find jevil really tough. Like I've never beaten jevil. I was curious to see if, like, I'm just not like I'm not a capital G gamer, so I was like, maybe you'll get jevil pretty quickly. And to see you like have a really hard time with jevil, I was like, oh, yeah, no, this is a hard boss.
Yeah,
But
he's a tough boss, partly because there's so many sequences there that you have to learn, and then they keep being modified, and yeah, you just don't really have enough resources to make any mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you can make mistakes, but like then they put you behind the curve, and then you're trying to play catch up, and while you're playing catch up, you're not, actually taking the boss down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I think when I go back, I am gonna keep going with the act approach,
Mm-hmm.
just because it does give you a little more time, a little more room to breathe, because you get the defense, or you reduce his attack power, which helps. Lets you make a few more mistakes on the way there.
Mhm.
But yeah, because like some of the patterns are just awful.
Mhm.
Devil's Knife and all that. But it is kind of nice though to have done all that Jevil and then go meet the king and be like, oh, this is
Yeah.
absolutely nothing.
I was thinking about that too. I was like, oh yeah, you're gonna breeze through King after all that.
Yeah. King really brought some interesting moves for sure.
Mhm. Yeah.
Moving the box around, laser targeted spades,
Mhm.
all the good stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, it didn't phase me.
Yeah, like the last time I played through chapter 1, I think I died to King like maybe once. I was like, oh yeah, it's kind of steps up a little bit, but
Yeah.
did nothing compared to fucking the Chaos Clown. But yeah, like you were saying, I maybe gear up a little bit at Roll's shop. I forgot that was an option, and that might make the difference.
Yeah, especially having like a little more defense.
Mm-hmm.
Because that means you can squeeze out maybe an extra turn where you don't like turtle up and then try to get all your hit points back.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, because it seemed to me like you were getting pretty close,
yeah.
and you made enough attempts. I was like, hey, yeah, you will eventually get him. But yeah, I think if you just like bulk up your defenses a little bit, probably help a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But yeah, otherwise, getting through King, not that bad. I did like that he gave us a little bit of exposition.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was nice to see because it kind of confirmed some suspicions that I had.
Mm-hmm.
Betrayal of the Lightners, and you abandoned us, and now you're back, and blah, 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 and all that. I don't know. It's interesting. It'll be nice at some point to know more what's going on there.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't really know how truthful he was really being, right? Because he was saying things in the moment because he has some sort of strong belief about his role in the world and how he's in control now because everyone else is I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
His motivations are kind of cloudy to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like he's just going through the motions of being in charge, but I don't know. It's like he doesn't really have any goals or strong motivations. It's just cool. There's a dark fountain and you're the last one left standing. Like,
Yeah, I think he mentioned at one point that like he saw the presence at the fountain as being like creating like a new world. I think his thought was like maybe not him specifically, but that like Darkners were going to rule that world, so like rule over the Lightners and subject them. So like yeah, that's kind of just he's got like revenge motivations.
okay.
Yeah, power and revenge. But still extremely mysterious.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of forgot until because yeah, King giving exposition. I forgot a little bit until we were playing through this together. That or you were playing while I say dumb things at you. Like how mysterious that first chapter is for most of it. Especially because like I have so much other context. I have context from chapter 2 as well. But yeah, for like the bulk of that chapter, it's like, all right, we're having an RPG adventure.
Mm-hmm.
We've got our guide. We've got our little brother. We've got a girl who wants to kick our ass. Cool.
Yeah.
And then you get to King and it's, yeah, oh, okay. Here's the overarching story. Nice screensaver.
Oh yeah, it's set to random.
Yeah, I like the eyeballs are really good. That's not good audio, a thing that people can't see and it won't be captured probably, but
No. Yeah, it's just like half a dozen eyeballs bouncing on one screen.
that's cool. Is that a built-in Pop OS screensaver?
No, you got to go grab X screensaver off the Debian repos.
That's fun. I might have to go grab that.
Yeah.
I mean, not that my laptop ever goes into my lemur ever goes into screensaver mode, but
Yeah, I don't really need a screensaver, but I do kind of like the idea of when I get up and walk away from my computer, it like switches into a different mode, and that mode is not locking the computer because it's like, oh, I gotta sit down, I gotta type in the password, I gotta like boot
Mhm.
things back up.
yeah.
yeah, it's just idling, which is kind of nice.
Yeah. Well, it does funky fun things. Like,
Yeah.
I just like haven't seen a screensaver in so long. I should set mine to like buff superheroes hugging.
There
yeah.
there is one screensaver in the set that will just search the internet for pictures.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, and so I don't know what kind of trouble it gets itself into. But well, it's so funny too. Like, one of the things I think is really strange and frustrating being in the Linux world again, because when I was first here, it was years ago. I was in college and I was just running Linux, and I first learned that you can install software from other people. Like, it's put up on the repo. But now that I do software as a job, and in particular I work in the front end where we have so many open source libraries, like too many. People complain about that shit.
Yeah.
But one of the things I think is really, I guess, maybe mature and potentially like professionally like sophisticated about the system that we're part of in the front end is every single goddamn library and repo and dependency has a README, has a community, has issues, has like a bug reporting system. Like,
Yeah.
and then I go look at like a repo in Debian, and it's like version 24.17.3 requires Python 3, and then it says nothing else.
Yeah.
Nothing. There's no README, there's no source code, there's no documentation, there's no notes, it's just like, cool, here it is, good luck, you know.
It's almost like when your like strata of work, your whatever your focus of work is like user facing, like things that directly interface with other people. You tend to think more about about user experience.
Yeah.
You know, other users potentially being other programmers.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
like my first instinct with the screensaver, and especially the one that just searches the internet at random for pictures, is I think that's kind of funny, and I don't mind if like porn shows up on my office, screen over here.
I'm not gonna be shocked or angry.
But also at the same time, it's like, I would love if there was the source code, or if there was a config file that I could read, or even just some notes somewhere that say, oh, here's the list of words that we curated, and here's why we curated them.
Oh, yeah. See, that was my number one question, actually, was like, can you customize the keywords? Okay.
No, I'd have to go open up the actual, whatever code actually came down. And again, I don't know if it's source code. It might be just compiled and illegible.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I find that kind of frustrating. Coming back into this world, we're like, man, I wish we had just had a better approach to that. Maybe there's man pages. Maybe there's like a help file somewhere to read. But the first thing that you find when you go look these things up is a web page that tells you what the thing is, and then maybe one line of description. Yeah. That said, it is a very cool old school program. It has a ton of cool stuff in here. There's like an ant maze and 3D diagrams and sculptures. Yes, searching the internet for just random pictures, and it'll overlay them slowly over time into a collage, which is kind of cool.
Oh, that's fun. What's the program called?
That one in particular is X Screensaver.
X Screensaver. Okay.
Yeah. As opposed to something like GNOME Screensaver.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
While you're looking that up, so the next thing I have on my list about deltarune. Ralsei said the world is not soft.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, hey, you took my words.
Yeah.
I'm glad he was listening.
He's listening. See, that was customized. Every copy of Deltarune is customized for each player. If you didn't know.
Well, I did. I mean, this is not really Deltarune. It's.
Oh, that's true.
It's someone took the Mac OS version.
That's true.
And repackaged it and recompiled it for Linux.
You got that fan port specifically so you could do, so you could fucking flex your
little command
fucking
line
terminal.
intros. Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. That's true.
So who knows what it's doing in there?
Yeah. It was probably Gaster that made the port.
Oh.
So it's my headcanon that Gaster's definitely a some flavor of Linux guy.
I don't know who this is, but I'm gonna agree. Yeah.
That's the music essay that I did is that guy, and the UI character.
Okay.
Yeah, the guy who facilitates the game
Yeah.
for you. It's that guy. And the goofy sprite that I showed you. Pull that up again. Did I just never use his name?
I think you might have mentioned it, but
yeah.
In one ear, out the other.
Yeah, I also
it doesn't really stick for me because I don't have a face or a idea of like.
Yeah, you don't have the 7 years of speculating about what this guy's fucking deal is.
Okay, yeah, no, I have seen this face actually.
Yeah. But yeah, I also just don't like saying his dumb name. You like write or say his dumb name enough times.
Yeah.
And see it enough times and around the Undertale circles, and it's just like, it's such a dumb name. I call him Dr. Dingbat's dumb name sometimes. The WD stands for Wingdings, probably.
Okay.
Yeah. So much there. Oh, actually, while I have that article open, sorry, what? I got sidetracked. Oh yeah, ralsei. Yeah, the world is not always that soft.
Yeah, which I don't know. I'm glad they said it,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't have to like tell it to them, that they could just experience it and understand that. That said, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
After having faced jevil, I think it's still a relatively soft world.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, jevil is much harder than anything else, in the sense of like soft versus hard, which is probably a pretty. In the next chapter, we'll see if maybe I make you do. There is an option that becomes available in the second chapter that you might find really interesting, but we'll cross that bridge. Well, I mean, we'll play through it normally first anyway, but then depending on how you feel, because there's no chapter 3 yet, so
Yeah.
after chapter 2, it's like, yeah, just kind of fuck around. But yeah, it was interesting. I remember the first time that I played chapter 1. Yeah, it was like, well, obviously this game can't do the same thing that Undertale did. And I think a lot of folks were kind of expecting maybe a little bit of conversation with Undertale in this game. And I mean, the fact that like you have the option to fight in this game and it's not punished. We talked about it before. There are benefits, maybe. There are mechanics that revolve around sparing in this game, the recruitment, but it's a different. It's not quite as like a game-changing thing in this game. It seems like to just fight your way through stuff. And then yeah, I think like in Undertale, there's a similar when you get to Asgore, you have no option but to fight Asgore. But in that situation, it's like you really fucking don't want to. Like it presents it in a very different, contextualizes it very differently. In this game, it's very clear. I think there's a very clear like, you can't be nice to everyone. There are bastards, and you have to stand up to bastards. And I remember thinking like, yeah, that feels like a maturation of, not that like Undertale was actually ever trying to moralize anyone anyway, but people thought that it was, and if that's a dialogue that is happening between these two games, seems like there is something to be said in this game about like, yeah, oppression needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
You can't just talk your way out of things with bullies, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I definitely felt like, I don't know, coming off the jevil marathon, I was just taking frustration out on all the creatures in front of me.
Yeah.
Because like, you know what? I have dealt with so much. I've died so many times.
Mm-hmm.
You pose no threat to me. Why would you try to stop me at this point?
Mm-hmm.
And really cementing home that like, Well, yeah, so ralsei is saying, sometimes the world is not soft, but I think maybe the one other bit that ralsei needs to learn is that includes the party. Susie axed the king in the back.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fighting fair. She doesn't care.
Yeah.
She'll fuck you up. She'll put her life on the line.
Yeah.
So I think that would be one other thing I would want ralsei to learn. Is like, yes, you're right. Like, sometimes you have to fight, and the world is dangerous. Also, we're the most dangerous motherfuckers here.
Yeah, I was about to say, when you talk about like fighting fair, I mean, you guys are overpowered. You're the heroes of legend. It's a game, so you have to be able to defeat any given thing that you come against. Like, jevil is the only fair fight, really. Yeah. So far that you've experienced. Yeah. It's in chapter 2 we'll see if So I think I've talked about it a few times before, but like the idea of like a player as like an eldritch god basically to the to these in-universe characters is there is nothing more powerful in this game than you sitting in the chair and controlling the character.
Have you played any of the Elder Scrolls games?
I haven't personally played, but you've talked to me about a lot of the lore. Yeah.
I know we talked about like the next thing that we want to do, and I do kind of want to do Fallout, but also a lot of this conversation makes me want to do Morrowind. Mm-hmm. Probably lightly modded, some quality of life stuff.
Yeah.
But just to go through that experience, because I think I talked about that earlier on in this playthrough, that style of gameplay for the player it puts you in a position of vulnerability and powerlessness and drops you in a world that you don't understand. Mm-hmm. And then you ramp up to absurd levels, to eldritch levels, to unstoppable, unfathomable power. Mm-hmm. But kind of one of the things about Elder Scrolls, and I feel like this is something they established pretty early, is that the player and the heroes of legend or whatever that you play, and the weird things that happen around you that make you invulnerable or invincible or near immortal or unstoppable, are diegetic, right? There are books and texts in the game that talk about, this hero in the Second Age or whatever, Second Era, sorry, ages are Lord of the Rings. In the Second Era, they had like I think they call it like a time knife or something.
Oh, that's
The Good Place.
Yeah, I was about to say. But,
where you can cut a hole open in time and escape into it and emerge out the other side. Like, if you were in a duel and you were losing, you would slip through the time knife, come out the other side, and you'd be perfectly fine. Rested and healed and everything, because that's the pause menu.
Oh, yeah.
You can slice your way through time and say, no, fuck this, I'm out, and come back. That's quick saving and quick loading. That's all the shit that players can do to the world around them. And diegetically inside that world, there are scholars who are like, we don't fucking know. I don't know. Sometimes weird shit happens, and it seems to happen it centers around particular heroes of every age that come around. Even between a couple of the main game entries, they totally like shuffle the world map, right? Who knows why? They're like, we don't like the way this looks. Maybe we'll move some cities around, change the history of the world and everything. And even then, there's books in the world that talk about, it's so weird. If you look back in time, older scholars talk about these cities, these places, as if they were somewhere else. Or named something else, or had different qualities about them, and now they're just different. And so I think they call them dragon breaks or something. Again, they're like, some powerful creature must have just changed reality, and that's their best explanation for it. But even the fact that like from game to game, canon can be changed or retconned over time can't really be retconned, because the people living in that world are aware of it and documenting what's happening and being just like, fuck, we don't know, but this shit happens periodically, just beware, basically.
We'll need to figure out a schedule or something for trade-offs, because I also think yeah, if you're interested in that kind of meta storytelling, should have you finish Undertale.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, it would be fun to
yeah.
go back.
Yeah, and maybe if you're starting to jive with it a little more, with I don't know why I said jive. If you're starting to like vibe with it a little more, with just
This is what happens when you're a cusp generation.
yeah.
You can't help but say the wrong slang.
Yeah. But yeah, if you can like kind of vibe with the goofy, the shit posty and the goofy in this game, or at least like tolerate it enough to get to the more interesting kind of deeper story stuff, then yeah, maybe Undertale might connect a little bit better this time around. But yeah.
Okay, last thing talking about what we're going to do with more games is if we go the route of grabbing an Elder Scrolls game for you, I want to find an old paper map.
Oh.
That is part of the fun and mystery and mystique of it too, is especially like playing Morrowind, it came with a big old like fold out map. And so you would have your in-game map, but it would be blank because you haven't explored the world yet. And your paper map wouldn't have a lot of details because it can't zoom in all the way or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it would at least show you interesting landmarks that either, that you wouldn't know about in-game, in-world, in-universe yet.
Mm-hmm.
But also, like any good map, it at least says, sure, there's interesting things out here for you to go explore. And that's kind of a fun aspect. There's at least one or two, like, I guess, like side quests or just like deeper, interesting like quests or, locations that I think in this day and age, I would go look at like a fan wiki or check the subreddit or whatever and go figure out, hey, what are the things that I missed? What else should I go check out? But in that era, it was still the time of like you had a game manual and a map that would lead you into different and interesting directions.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be worth checking out.
Yeah, that makes me think also maybe I should make you play Tunic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The one thing with Tunic, Tunic is a Souls-like, in terms of like the combat mechanics. The real meat and potatoes of Tunic is the puzzling, like the brain puzzling of it. And I have heard testimony from a number of like capital G gamers that like sometimes the Souls-like combat is unfun hard. There is an option to have like infinite health, and no one is there is kind of no reason to not take it up on that offer if the combat is not fun. That's the only that's the only caveat about Tunic, but Tunic is really interesting.
Yeah, add it to the list.
Yeah.
Other note I have here, so you mentioned, and I guess this might be common knowledge, but there should be 7 chapters.
Yeah,
eventually.
That's I think there's something as of like chapter 2. There's like a menu. I think if you're like starting a new game or something, there's like a menu that'll come up with like a chapter select, and it lists. That menu lists 7 chapters.
Okay.
Which kind of implies that like probably there are just 7 chapters planned. There's some I think data miners found like I think there are like title cards or something for like maybe up to 10 chapters, but there are kind of ways to rationalize that. It's just they're there to be there. And who, it's possible that menu is lying, or, it's never been officially announced that there are 7 chapters. I guess is maybe the easier way to say that, but probably.
Okay.
And it kind of makes sense for a lot of different reasons, but.
Yeah, no, because like, getting to the end of this chapter, and returning to reality, I guess.
Yeah, the light world.
Yeah. Kind of my first thought when when we landed back in there was, oh, that was like a Narnia adventure,
Mm-hmm.
which also has 7 books
Mm-hmm.
to get through. But just an idea of like you leave the mundane world, go to a magical world, and just like skip off the surface and change something radically, and then leave. And then the idea is that you would come back at some point later and experience what changes, like what your changes have done to that world.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. I think that's an interesting trope, storytelling structure or device. That sort of like, I don't know what that's called. I don't know how you generalize that form, but kind of a something.
Mm-hmm.
It's like hero's journey, but instead of the hero's journey being like, oh, here's this big grand adventure and you come back and then like you win for all time, it's like, no, you have to keep participating
Mm-hmm.
in the journey over and over again and keep contributing to it
Mm-hmm.
to get more out of it. It's a roguelike, right? In that
Mhm.
sense, where not that you have to start over every time, but that you start from some sort of beginning
Mm-hmm.
in the same place and explore deeper into that world.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of that, you get kicked all the way back to the beginning,
Yeah.
and then you gotta do it again and do it again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's an interesting approach to storytelling.
Yeah, it's almost kind of a monster of the week.
Yeah.
Monster of the day of the week. It's 7 days. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting to get into chapter 2. But what was I had like a number of thoughts trying to
Like the number 7.
yeah. Yeah, at least 7 thoughts. Okay, well the first one that came back to my mind was it's not really a spoiler or anything, it's just paying attention to details. As of chapter 2, it kind of, we can basically infer that like this chapter was on a Thursday.
Oh, okay.
And there's a lot of thought around like mysterious eggs, secularized like Christian theming, even like kind of like eschatology, like end days, apocalyptic theming. If the last chapter happens on a Wednesday, it's kind of I think the Ash Wednesday theory is what folks are calling it. That there's a certain amount of like, because they're like messianic themes to like the idea of the angel and things like that in this game. Yeah, I don't know, the seven chapter structure, each chapter being a day, is a really interesting one. Also the whole the specter of like Azrael coming home. Yeah, I don't know. There's like a lot of directions where that could go.
Right, because the king in Kingspade called Kris the
lightbringer.
No, isn't that Lucifer?
Yeah, that's Lucifer.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how I was like, it's almost Luciferian, and then I was like, no, it's literally Luciferian. That's what the name.
Yeah, because
means.
he's a Lightbringer then. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if he's the Lightbringer and if he's Lucifer, who is going to kick him out and why?
Mm-hmm.
And why does he fall and where does he fall? That not that the metaphor allegory has to be 100%, but it feels like those are now possibilities.
Yeah.
And if they haven't happened yet and they're going to happen, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's always the layer too of like, so in universe, when characters are talking to Kris, they're almost certainly always talking to them. Kris, the character, because they don't know the shit that we know. But there is always kind of that layer of like, when we're like analyzing it and approaching it too, of is that on a higher level being directed to Kris or to us, like occupying Kris. And that's always an interesting, because yeah, like King is calling Kris Lightbringer, but is the game calling Kris Lightbringer, or is the game calling us Lightbringer? It's always, yeah, so wild. So like maybe we're cast out.
Yeah. No, I mean,
yeah.
that's kind of what that ending sequence is talking about, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The sleepwalking and ripping the soul out, because that's like one of the it's the thing that we control as players, and it's obvious and right there. So if Kris, if they're going to rip that out and try to become independent in that moment, that says something. That says something about the relationship that we have with Kris.
Yeah, and that relationship is definitely like central.
Because there's always, and I remember this a little bit from Undertale. There's always a little bit of trying to understand, what level the world is interacting with that character. Is it interacting with the character, with the player, and like with Noelle, like that conversation at the end? Oh, you seem so talkative today. Like, what's going on?
Yeah, or the piano in the hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So on one hand, it's like, well, obviously having spent several hours in the like deepest levels of like closet hell, you're gonna be shooken up. Kris is gonna come back not the same.
That's a good point. But yeah.
Because the player is still playing a very dominant role in how Kris is acting. That's gonna come through.
Yeah.
I can see either way. But given what I know about Undertale and given what I know about this particular, developer's voice and style, I think a lot of that's us.
Yeah.
We're fucking things up.
Yeah, we're making the choices, the big choices.
Yeah.
But not all the choices. We didn't do any inputs for Kris to save Susie.
No.
From King. We didn't tell them to huff a marker. So yeah, it's interesting, the kind of like push and pull. I guess there is a chapter 2. That there's a chapter 2, which probably implies that like we go back into Kris. So there's always like the question that keeps being mulled over is like, does Kris want us there, like at all, or maybe sometimes, or why are we there in the first place? Like that kind of stuff. And it like at this point, because there's so little information, it could kind of go anyway. It's definitely presented as of like the end of chapter 1 as like there is a certain amount of animosity, but we also don't know why there is so much animosity. It also feels pretty natural to say that like, oh, somebody else is controlling your choices. Of course you don't like that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I've got some kind of pet speculation about like, as an extremely anxious person who doesn't like to be responsible for making choices sometimes, like, I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't mind it if somebody else made choices for me,
Yeah, I will say I have experienced that, like, firsthand, as in a first-person perspective. Feeling like, quote-unquote, someone else is in control. Specifically, it was a time when I was working at UPS, and the short of it is I got frustrated with the way that the supervisors were using our time on our break. And so they're giving some, I don't know, presentation with a whiteboard about numbers and throughput and whatever nonsense. And I just had enough, and so I just started telling them, like, none of these numbers matter. We don't care. I don't know what the fuck you guys are talking about. Like, we're just here to work and get our shit done, and, we don't need this right now. I don't remember exactly what I said. I just remember the feeling of just, like, a lot of heat, a lot of anger, and I could not control what I was going to say or what I was going to do. I was inside my own head witnessing myself, like, reading the riot act to my supervisors about this shit. And I couldn't stop myself until I said everything I wanted to say, which is, in summation, it's a waste of our time. We don't care, and it doesn't matter. In however many words it took me. And that is a weird experience. I was a lot younger and in a much different place in my life. So like emotionality like that was going to be way more easily like taking over.
Yeah, the dissociation.
Yeah. Yeah, like full kind of like just, okay.
Yeah, or depersonalization or whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
I'm just going to ride this out and then at some point get control back and then be like, I guess just deal with the consequences at the end of it. Like that's I think kind of the toughest part about it, is that on one hand it was obviously very rude, quote unquote inappropriate or whatever, right? It was breaking the social contract of like, cool, we're all going to sit on the conveyor belt together in a row like good school children, and listen to the three supervisors write on the whiteboard how many boxes we moved, what our goal is, and what we need to hit for the day. And this is just our ritual that we do every single day and have been doing for months, for years, and no one's questioned it and no one's done anything about it. And then at some point that switched something in my head and I just couldn't take it anymore.
Yeah, it's like, maybe it wasn't the thing that you normally would have chosen to do, but maybe it was the thing that needed to be done.
It
yeah.
did feel a little bit like, I mean, looking back on it now, it would have been like a player playing a player character saying, you know what, you'd be funny as if you just went off on them right now.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like, there's a lady on YouTube who has been doing some kind of cool like thematic analysis lately, and she just put out a video like talking about like one of the things she gets into is like relationships with fiction, and she even like kind of talks about like relationships to fandom, which it's probably tangential to this, but yeah, like you can have like relationships to fiction can be extremely constructive and helpful. It's ways to like explore yourself and, you know, work through things. They can also be really toxic. And yeah, it's like it maybe like the choices we can make in this game are to have a constructive relationship with Kris or to have a very toxic one with them. And yeah, it's like maybe they don't love like, you know, having to be in that relationship always. But maybe it can still be constructive for them. I don't know, like the way it's kind of hard for me to put it into words right now, but there's a little bit of there's room to speculate right now that maybe Kris asked to be possessed in some way, which like it's kind of lore-y stuff. I don't want to get into it too much, but like it's possible they made some kind of contract or deal or something, and this is how it has manifested. Yeah. I think the most popular opinion is that they are just kind of, you know, woke up one day and were possessed, but there's room and it kind of thematically makes sense. Makes sense with their character maybe. Yeah. But
yeah, and I feel for Kris the character either way.
Oh yeah, no, either way it sucks. like
yeah.
It's a hard situation for them.
Because yeah, that particular feeling of not being in control and having to just witness what's happening, but it's you doing it, super disturbing. Not a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm gonna when we finish chapter 2, I'm gonna make you do the thing.
Yeah.
I'll try not to talk about it too much, but it's
no spoilers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, you know, I can imagine that same feeling. I mean, there's positive aspects though. There's positive, you know, that kind of like depersonalization or derealization or like feeling like someone else is controlling you or puppeting you. Obviously not super healthy in a circumstance when you're just breaking all the social rules and then you'll have consequences later, and like that really sucks.
Yeah.
But I don't know if it's the exact same, but what feels like the exact same feeling happens when you're playing music and you reach a place where you don't know if what you're feeling is what you're playing or what you're playing is what you're feeling. You just sort of let go and stop having like true like ego. You're just a thing doing a thing. You're a vessel for what's happening around you and the music and sounds that you're making. That's a very positive experience, kind of in the same vein though of like you yourself, the person inside your head, just kind of goes away for a second and you can just be a being doing the thing that you know were trying to do. And so in that case with the music, and especially like improvisational music, it's just speaking freely in your instrument, you know, in your music.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a very positive aspect of that, which I don't know. If I was in Chris's position and I was in a position to maybe make a deal to have an outside player,
Mm-hmm.
playing me as a player character, that's tempting, because there is
Mhm.
potential value in that.
Yeah.
And it's not just like frightening social situations where it's like, oh, I guess you're just going to pick the most random ass shit and make me do it. It might also be you're going to basically be like that animus, that impulse to just do things that I don't have to think about.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes when you don't think about the things that you're doing, you are just more present and authentic or sincere or whatever. Like you're accessing something deeper than you could consciously.
Mm-hmm.
And that's positive, but that's a hell of a deal to make, because
Mm-hmm.
it's not
Yeah.
all fun. Some of it's kind of shitty.
Trusting people, to bring it back to like an interpersonal level, trusting people is inherently risky.
Yeah.
There is no way to trust without taking on a certain amount of risk, and it's on whoever you're trusting to not abuse that trust. Which that kind of helps me synthesize a couple things. So no, I'll let that thought go. The Gaster thoughts. I mean, he's also trusting a player, which
Yeah.
we've talked about before. But on Chris's level, yeah, like we can see demonstrably by the end of chapter 1, like we get evidence that, like, I mean, from the start of the game, that like something is up with Chris. They've got sullen vibes. Their half of the room is kind of barren.
Yeah.
Like their mom clearly loves them, so it's like it's not that like nobody's taking care of them. They just like have an empty side of the room. They're being bullied, and by the end of the game, or the end of the chapter, the bully is now their friend. They have like, I don't know, like 300% more friends. That's not how that works, but they have like they have at least 3 more friends than they used to.
Does the Lake Onion count?
Yeah, the Lake Onion counts. Sans kind of counts.
Yeah.
There's the prospective friend of the little brother, which I won't get into my whole can of worms about the little brother, but they're more talkative than usual. Like, yeah, if part of what they wanted was to be more connected to people, like that's absolutely happened.
Yeah, and it makes me think too that, like, even as we're talking about the player possessing Kris, you mentioned this before, where like it's not always true. We're not always in control.
Mm-hmm.
And I think part of it too that kind of comes through is that the choices that we're given when we are given control are not choices we would choose.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Those are still, from Chris's perspective, those are still things that they would talk about, or they would want to know.
That's so interesting that you brought that up, because I've never really seen anybody else say it, but I've had the thought in the back of my mind of like, folks, I mean, like, along with like narration, folks have been wondering about like, where did the dialogue options come from? And I've never seen anybody just say like,
that's Kris.
yeah, maybe they're just the things that Kris would possibly do.
Yeah.
The stuff in chapter, the stuff I keep like very vaguely, mysteriously alluding to in chapter 2, I think makes people not want to consider that possibility. I might have to do a little write-up about this, because I think like kids, like troubled kids have troubled minds and like are capable of a lot of different kinds of thoughts, and the difference is that they wouldn't normally choose to do this. Like, if you have obsessive compulsive disorder and you have like intrusive, disturbing thoughts, normally like you actively don't want the thoughts in the first place, let alone to make the choices that are being, that are coming to mind. But if you have a player that is seeing those choices as an option and picking them, then like, yeah, I don't know. I shouldn't get too much deeper into that, because that's spoilery, but like,
no, when we get there we'll have to talk about it, because yeah, I think that's maybe
like, I guess that my point, because it also applies to like things that are less dark, is like, just because Kris thinks of something as an option doesn't mean that like they realistically would take that option. Could be as simple as like choosing between like a handful of characters who you want to like give a gift to. Like of course they're going to consider all of them because like they're all in front of them. But again, there's like that layer, there's that interface in between where somebody else is choosing. Yeah. It'll be interesting to get into Chapter 2 because Chapter 2 fleshes out pretty much everything about this game. Not just like the narrative, but also like the gameplay is a lot more interesting, I think. But anyway, yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it'll be interesting to get more into that because now I'm really interested in this idea again because I have played enough Undertale to know that this is an important theme or idea that gets played with in these games.
Mm-hmm.
But how much our relationship as a player to Kris matters. And what we do and how that affects who they are and what they are and how they perceive themselves and others perceive them. But now I also like the idea that like, yeah, like we're not omnipotent. Kris is the vessel. So we're limited by what the vessel is capable of. So yeah, that's interesting that the choices would come from the character. But the choice comes from the player character, or
the possibilities.
Choices come from the player character. The choice comes from the player. Yeah.
Yeah, the possibilities come from the
character.
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
I'm
looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I had more notes, but I feel like we covered a lot.
Yeah, I had a couple things, not nearly as like thematically interesting, but
I will say the epilogue was fun.
Yeah, you liked the epilogue? Okay.
It's kind of cute. It's kind of nice to like wind down. One of the things I like about it is that it's something you didn't get a lot of in like the old like 90s like Nintendo like open world games. I'm thinking of in particular of like A Link to the Past. And that always frustrated me as a kid because you would beat the game so many different ways, but there was truly no like mark you left on the world. You know, things were always a little bit, not every NPC had the right thing to say, or not every location seemed to have changed in the right way to reflect the thing that you had just done, which was travel to the dark world, defeat all these different bosses, you know, level up and change into a different creature and eventually come back and like, you know, truly have like a triumphant return. I think that's a nice aspect of this game of like, yes, a bunch of things happened. It didn't change the overworld so much, the light world, but it changed the character, and you get a chance to see that and like experience it.
Yeah, that's such a good point. Like in the game that really wants to tell you your choices don't matter, like that's the game that has that segment that you've been wanting, of like seeing the progress and seeing the change, at least in the character. Yeah, that's an interesting point. Because yeah, I mean that's kind of been the thought process a lot of folks are having is like, probably he's not lying about one ending. And I mean, he's straight up, I think in like an FAQ or something, Toby Fox said like, you know, maybe it's not the ending that matters, maybe it's like what you do to get to the ending that matters.
Yeah. It's
like, yeah, we're seeing that as we progress through the game. How our choices are impacting things.
Also, that's smart. I think we've all seen Mass Effect, the Mass Effect trilogy. How choice-based gameplay does not actually scale.
Yeah.
First game, great. Other two games, fun. The choice system after the first game immediately fell apart. Like, you're talking about like a geometric expansion, right? Every major plot point, every major character, every minor character, there is a paragon and renegade option. There's a neutral option. There's a yes/no option. There's every branch will just double the amount of potential outcomes in the world. So by the time you get to the end of the first game, it's like, cool, there's dozens, if not hundreds of different things that have happened in this game that should theoretically affect what happens in the second game. And they're like, yeah, no. The major plot points maybe, but honestly, there's a canon that the games follow, and it just so happens that as a player, you experience things that are not canon, essentially, and that's how those kind of games work. So I can imagine like that might be, if not that particular instance in particular, but that particular problem in game design, it's probably on his mind of like, there's 7 chapters. You can't support that much choice across that much game, realistically.
Yeah, that's interesting. Thinking again about chapter 2.
Because what I will say, I have seen games with a ton of choice. I'm thinking of I cannot think of the name of it, but it's a game in the same genre as like GTA, right? Crime and drive and like open world or whatever. Maybe mid to early aughts. I think PlayStation 2-ish. I think maybe you play a cop, actually. But that game has a bunch of choice. But the thing about those choices is that there's a right choice and a wrong choice. And so to 100% the game, you have to make a bunch of wrong choices and then play like 3 or 4 more chapters on that wrong choice and reach a dead end. And you're like, cool, that was fun. And then you go back to the choice that you made wrong.
Yeah.
You know, like a choose your own adventure book with your fingers stuck in the pages.
Yeah.
And then you go down a path and you keep making right choices until you find the wrong choice again. And then you go explore another cul-de-sac and another cul-de-sac and eventually you go and get the true ending. But I think that's an interesting solution to the problem of like, you have lots of choices, but actually 99% of them are wrong. They lead interesting places, but there is a true ending you need to go find and follow.
That's something a lot of folks have. It's kind of my current train of thought is that I think one ending means one true ending.
Yeah.
I mean, because every time you die, you get a Darkness Falls.
Yeah.
And fucking UI Gaster specifically calls it an end. Yeah, that's yeah. And just the idea of like the game design problem of like once you've made a very significant choice, how much branching happens after that in like subsequent scenarios. Yeah, that'll be something to think about in the future. That's something folks are speculating about with something that I'll show you later. But
as an aside, that's one of the reasons at some point we will have to get the D&D group back together. Because, I don't know, spoilers. The fact that you guys have been gone for so long.
The astral plane.
And now that like physically the players have been gone and separated for so long.
Oh, in the meat space.
Maybe that has an effect on the game world.
Yeah, it's possible.
And yeah, talking about branching, because that's not what I planned.
Yeah.
And now that has happened, like so many things are just going off the rails. Like what happens to a game world when the players leave?
Yeah.
That's kind of frightening. No one's there to fix things or push plots along or whatever.
It's true. The heroes of legend.
Yeah.
Have been just fucking around in the meat space.
And now it's just like all dark fountains spewing everywhere.
Yeah. Oh god, it's I shouldn't
When we get there.
I was about to use terminology that I think is maybe a spoiler. But it's not going to mean anything to you. It's the roaring. The roaring is happening.
Okay.
Yeah, I wrote down a couple things really. The throne room being thrashed up. Because we got the exposition, I think, from Sham that Spade King was the one to lock up the other kings.
Yeah.
And to take over control.
Yeah.
Why was his throne room thrashed up?
I mean, on one hand, I want to say just like he's an alcoholic and he's breaking his own shit because he's just angry about everything and nothing at the same time.
Okay, fair. I mean, alcoholic might be a little
maybe
dark
not
for this game, but
in canon, but you know, like
that type of
that kind of personality.
Yeah, possible. Maybe.
If he's not drunk on alcohol, he's drunk on his own like plans and regrets and betrayals.
Yeah.
But otherwise, I don't have a good explanation.
Yeah, no, it's something that's been in the back of some folks' mind. I mean, I forget about it until I see it every time, but it's an odd thing. It may mean nothing. It might be what you're saying. It's just like maybe there was some resistance to the overtaking, but it's an odd thought Because the other thing I noticed that I'd never really, I think I'd just kind of taken for granted before is like this is a thing that Toby Fox does to kind of like heighten drama in certain sequences, is like to have a character not have a typer sound, which is the kind of like speaking voice when the characters appear. But just like as long as he's in shadow, he has no typer sound, and it's only when he reveals himself. Again, I think that could probably be simply, to heighten the drama. There may be nothing more to it than that, but it is kind of an interesting choice, especially with like the mantle that flies away later. I don't know. There's some weird stuff around just the way King is.
Yeah.
When he starts falling asleep, he starts to become like sentimental.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there's you'll get more opportunities to like talk to him in the future when he's not.
I will say though that is a common thread with King and all of his subjects, is you can beat them into kindness. Especially that last sequence where I was actually attacking creatures, when they would get tired and be pacified, they had sweeter things to say and kinder ways of being, and then ralsei pacifies them.
Yeah, true.
So I don't know if that means they all are suffering from the same malaise, bitterness, betrayal, whatever. Yeah. And maybe they all, I mean, that kind of makes sense. They're all probably just people. So you take away all of the hurt and pain that they're putting on the outside, there's probably a decent person in there.
Yeah. Yeah, now I think about it, the line of speculation that I was kind of like thinking on just then, it kind of like removes agency a little bit from there's a line of speculation that like, the crown that made.
True.
Yeah, I also kind of think there's probably not a whole lot to that. Also, I think like kind of chapter 2 helps to kind of flesh that out. That like
that's gonna be my tinfoil theory though, is that it's actually the dumb trap maker twink. Yeah.
Oh, so you're gonna go that far? Yeah.
Yeah. No, he's in control. He's been in control this whole time. He put the crown on the king, and now he's his puppet. That
is what that theory like proposes. There's a lot of. That's
why none of these plans make any goddamn sense, because it's actually the trap maker behind it all.
Yeah.
What was his name again?
Rules card.
Rules Garden?
Rules card.
Rules card.
He's the rules card.
He's the rules card.
That's he that's why he makes puzzles, because he determines like what the game is. Yeah. It's also nobody fucking ever looks at the fucking rules card in a deck.
I used to keep my decks complete. Both Jokers, the rules card, the trademark card, one that talks about all the different like copyrights or whatever that deck has. Mostly because every single weird card you hang on to is another wild card. So you could be playing a deck with like 5 wild cards. But yeah, no one reads the rules card.
Oh man, rules card is such a can of worms. You'll get to see more of him. But like, I mean, from the get-go, he's got that weird stringy like mouth situation going. He's got kind of the similar eye shape.
Yeah.
I'm showing a picture of the mystery man sprite. There are folks that think that rules card is literally Gaster. I don't think that's true. I think he's a Gaster fanboy. Because in like a lot of different ways, he's like a shitty off-brand version of kind of the fandom's perception of Gaster. I think it's Toby having a little bit of fun about how the fans just kind of ran with his mystery character. So that's my line of speculation. I don't know. Rules is interesting. That we'll see how significant Rules becomes in the future. Kind of seems like he's just a goofy guy.
Yeah.
But
for now, my pet theory is that he's actually the mastermind behind it all.
No, you're not alone. You're not alone in that line of speculation. That's there are folks who are very serious about the rules as like the big boss man of the game theory. So
I mean, I would be okay with that as long as it was like he has no idea what he's doing. He just happens to work out. I'm okay with that.
Chaos.
You know?
Yeah. Rules card. Rules sucks. I like him a lot. He's great.
Cool. I guess next time we'll have to do chapter 2.
Yeah.
Do you remember your sign off this time?
Was it go to hell or was it fuck off and die?
Yeah, I think it was both now.
Okay. Well, I said them, so.
Cool.
Yeah.